Hello, and welcome to Tuesdays with Nina. Today we're going to talk about fetishes. Um, Dear Nina, what I'd like you to talk about is how to tell your friends and family members that you have a fetish that they might consider strange. For more than half my life, I kept my boot fetish hidden and never told my friends about it. I was terrified that they would tease or criticize me or put me down. Um, my parents loved to use my fetish as a weapon against me, and my cousin uh, liked to use my boot fetish against me. I don't know if I told you, but uh, I started seeing a psychiatrist when I was 8 years old, not to treat my depression, but they wanted to cure me of my boot fetish. He wanted to have me admitted to a mental institution and I could have electroshock therapy in 1968. Do you think that kind of therapy would have been cruel for an 8-year-old child? I finally developed the courage to tell my friends about my boot fetish. If they don't like it, fuck them. They're not the type of friend that I know I want or need. Wow, boots. So first off, yes, of course it would have been cruel and probably, again, some kind of mental code for an 8-year-old child to have electroshock therapy. Certainly it is not uncommon for sexual differences to be brutally and cruelly constrained by authority figures, the medical profession, the legal profession, the mental health profession, parents, preachers and priests and things of that nature. So the last question first, yes, it would have been cruel and terrible. I'm glad that it did not happen. So fetishes, it's a very big topic. And the people who really don't like fetishes like to say, well, you like the object instead of the person. That's not right. It should be into the person you're with. It should not be about things. But I have fetishes too, and my husband had fetishes. And lots of people have fetishes. I'm going to call them small f fetishes, meaning items that really, really, really turn you on. You don't need to have them in place, but they really do help enhance the lovemaking and make it that much more fun. I have fetishes, small f fetishes for, I like leather gloves, I like very high heels, I like men in riding boots, I like women in corsets with their boobies all pushed up and spilling over the top, and I definitely have kilts in kilts, and corsets and cleavage are two of my very biggest fetishes. I just find them very dreamy. Of course, I can have very enjoyable sex with someone who's merely naked. That's fine, but with the addition of a corset or a glove or a boot or a shoe, it just makes it extra yummy. And my husband has fetishes as well, and again, he can do it without them, but it just enhances the experience. And it sounds like that way for you. You really like boots. You like boots, and there's no telling where these come from. And it's really not worth trying to figure out, how do I get this way? You're this way. Don't worry about it. And you're very mentally healthy to have come to the point of understanding that if people don't like your fetish, fuck them. Absolutely, fuck them. Just as you wouldn't hang out with a person who denigrated your religious beliefs or denigrated your ethnic background or denigrated your sexual orientation, so too you shouldn't hang out with people who denigrate something as deeply connected to us is what turns us on. So you're turned on by boots. There you go. Don't worry about it. How to tell people that is more problematic because everyone's family is different. For the most part, our families don't want to hear about our personal sexuality. Beyond which you like boys, you like girls. I mean, that's as far as most families ever want to go with hearing about a family member's personal sexual life. It's like la 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 la, because it makes them uncomfortable to think about family members in a sexual situation. That's the incest taboo certainly coming up. It's like, ooh, don't want to hear about that. Mom, dad, ew. And our friends might be uncomfortable because they may have their own shame issues about fetishes that they have not been able to admit to other people, and so you being open about it just makes them know how unopen they are about it. They may think it's TMI, too much information, and a lot of us do have trouble with oversharing personal information in an attempt to be close to people or an attempt to make conversation. We can overshare. And so it's like, hey, I didn't ask about your sex life. Some people love hearing about their friend's sex life, and other people, oh, they don't like hearing about people's sex life. So how do you tell them? Well, it depends on how you meet them. Obviously online, if you go into a sexually oriented group and talk about your fetish, that's the appropriate place to talk about your fetish. And I'm sure that there are groups online that are devoted to boots and shoes because it's a really common fetish. A shoe fetish, I mean, most women have shoe fetishes. I have a minor one myself. I don't need a person to be in shoes, but I like shoes. And I like high heels, and I like boots, certainly. My fetish isn't as strong as yours, but I do like boots and shoes. As always, when you're talking about things that you first make sure that the person you're talking to is interested in this aspect of your nature. Not all of our friends need to know everything about us. There's certain friends I have I talk about sex with, and other friends I talk more about puppies and kittens and cooking, that kind of a thing. So make sure your friend is of the variety that wants to hear about your sex life. And you can always start by something along the lines of, I feel that you and I are pretty close, and if you're interested, I'd like you to share something with you that's pretty important to me. That's a really big part of who I am. And then you wait for them to go, what's that? I'd like to hear about it. Or, no, that's okay, don't want to hear about it. So first you elicit permission to share something so personal with somebody else. And then you can say, I have a major boot fetish. I really, really, really dig boots. I don't know where it came from, but there you have it. Many people like to talk about fashion, and they like to talk about clothes. It may not be a fetish for them, but it is an interest. It may be sexualized for them, but they're interested in shoes and boots from a fashion standpoint, and you might be able to find people like that to talk to about it. Pardon me. Oh, pardon me. Oh, goodness gracious, that coffee isn't working. But the most important person who needs to know about a fetish is any potential intimate partner. They need to know so that they don't get upset, or so that they can join in with you and enter into it. And I always tell people that having a partner with a fetish is actually a good thing, because as a sex partner that you reliably have something that will always get your partner going. If my partner is a foot guy, I know that if I let him play with my feet, it's going to make him excited, which in turn makes me excited, and then we're going to have a good time. If I know my partner likes boots and I want to excite my partner, I know that all I have to do is put on my favorite pair of boots, and my partner's going to be excited. So some people think fetishes are like, ew, creepy. A smart partner recognizes that fetishes are like, oh, useful, because we want our sex partners to be turned on to us. That is the whole point of having a sex partner. And if I know that there's something I can wear or say or do that always triggers the positive response that I'm looking for, it's good for me to know. So potential sex partner needs to know. People that you're going to let into your innermost circle of friends need to know eventually. But it's very hard for people to understand fetishes, because boots and shoes don't seem sexual. If you don't have the fetish, they're incomprehensible. What? You like balloons? And there are balloon fetishists out there. There are people who like messy sex. They're called sploshers. They like to play with food. There are all kinds of unusual sex practices out there that do not, to the non-fetishist, seem like sex. Like, really? That turns you on? I don't understand that at all. So you just have to ascertain your partner, if they should know this about you. Find a way to bring it up casually, and continue to be unashamed of it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just how you are. And understand other people's responses to your fetish. Say everything about them and nothing about you. It says that it makes them uncomfortable to talk about sex. Sorry for the length today, but it was a pretty big topic. Please send your questions to tuesdayswithnina@gmail.com, and Miss Victoria will send them on to me. Until next week, be happy, have fun.